to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Guns, self-defense, concealed carry. This is the Patriot Defense Podcast. From the war room in Idaho's high desert, here's your host, Todd Echols.
And I am back. It is a Sunday morning, and I am tucked away in the war room somewhere in the high desert of southern Idaho. And it is a very early Sunday morning. I'm kind of doing stuff different than what I usually do on Sundays when I do the podcast. I am foregoing my run this morning, and I'm going to push it to later in the day when my son is awake and can go with me so I can spend a little time with him. So I am out here. The decision was get up early, like when you go do your run, and instead of go do your run, come out and try to wake up and do your podcast. I'll be 100% honest with you. Going out and running, that is actually what wakes me up, right? Getting that morning exercise in, and I'm kind of feeling it this morning. I got my coffee right here, but I feel like I'm just bumbling all over the place this morning. So we'll get through this. I promise. I promise you guys a podcast. So here we go. What happened in the life of Patriot Defense, the life of Todd this week? Not a whole lot. We had the women's the women's shooting. There we go. I'm stumbling here. I'll get on a roll here. We had the women's academies meet this week, and this was the first class of the year where they actually shot, and they all did pretty good. It's always interesting to see the mix of levels of experience and the different types of guns that show up in class. So, and as far as gun-wise, nothing too crazy. I think there will be a few of them that will be changing their guns probably midsummer. You can kind of get a feel for it. You know, some of them are a little timid when they come in, and that is fine. And then they're newer shooters, and they start with a 22, that is fine too. But some of them will start with some of those 22s that don't actually function very well. And you see them kind of start with those, and they're like, "Why is this jamming so much?" Or, well, what is going on here? Or, "I don't really like this gun," and they'll shoot with it for a few weeks, and then you'll see them, change up. I had another class where this woman, she's very new to firearms. Her husband has guns, and she is actually already looking for her own firearm. She's going to shoot some of mine because she's a new shooter, and her husband, and some people just have different firearms, right? They don't have the nicest, newest, fanciest stuff, which is fine, but he has sent her with a dud every time she showed up to class. So one of the classes we didn't shoot, we just did dry fire. He sent her with a what is it, like a Jimenez or something like that. It's pretty much just a Mexican version of the High Point, like absolutely horrible trigger, horrible gun, just a big brick, something you bought for like $57 somewhere. I envision it that he bought it from a roadside vendor who was also selling cheap jewelry somewhere. But she brought this gun in, and she picked it up, and she dry fired like 3 times, and goes, "This is crap. Why'd you send me with such a horrible gun?" And then she came back this week to shoot. And it wasn't a horrible gun, but it was a really, really, really old Ruger. One of those heavy ones that's like a boat anchor. Decent gun. I mean, it functions, but it's just big and it's heavy. And for a new shooter, it's kind of intimidating because, it was a 9mm, but the thing was the size of a 45. It was huge. And so it's not something that she was very excited about. So she ended up shooting my Taurus TX22 and just loved it. And honestly, that's a good place for a lot of people. If you're brand new to shooting, that's a good place for you to start. My class I had the night after that's a small class. I only have like 3 people in that class. The class that I have the next night is a larger class. In fact, it's 16 people in that class. Now since 2 of them are actually moving to the Wednesday night class just to because it's better for their schedule and it kind of lightens the load on that class. That was a large class. And those students, those ladies in that class, they were troopers. So normally what I do is when I have the women's beginner academies, like I don't know anything about these ladies. I don't know if they've shot before. I don't know if they're brand new. I don't know their skill levels. I don't know what they know in the way of safety. And then do they practice that safety? So the way I do the very first class when we shoot is I bring in help, and I brought in a buddy of mine, Jeremy, a guy that helps me all the time, and it was kind of cold that night, which is kind of what you get this time of year. And so what we did is normally I bring out one person at a time and have them shoot one round, then have them shoot 5 or 6 rounds. I know that they're safe, make sure they're comfortable, and then I say, okay, you just kind of keep shooting. We're not working on any drills tonight. We're just getting you used to your gun. We're used to those fundamentals. You start shooting, and then I go grab someone else, bring them out, get them started, let them start rolling, grab someone else. You see how it works. Well, there's 16 of these students in this class, these ladies. And I was like, this is going to take me forever by myself. So I brought in my helper, Jeremy, and he came, my range guy did. He came and he helped so we could take 2 at a time out there. And actually, it was a longer class than usual, but it went pretty smoothly. And for any ladies, for any ladies out there listening that were at that class, you guys all did great, and I'm sorry you didn't get all my attention up and down the line there. I'm just trying to get people started, and that's the first class. That's the way we do. We just kind of get people started one at a time, and then the next class it'll be different. We'll all be out on the line together, shooting at the same time, which I don't think some of the ladies minded it too much because I had the heater on in the classroom, so most of them just stayed in the classroom, and I just went and got who I wanted, not who I wanted, but I just went and got them one at a time, so they didn't have to stand out there and freeze while they were waiting. But I tried to be as organized as we possibly could. But the next class, you'll all be out there shooting, and that's what it's all about. I just, for safety reasons, I have to take them out there one at a time, get them shooting, let them just kind of keep shooting, and bring them out separately, not separately, but one at a time. So I don't have everyone just going, hey, Todd, I need your help, and me turning around and having like 5 guns pointed at me, right? So what we do is when I pull them out there, we go over the fundamentals real quick. I make sure they're going to grip the gun okay. I get to visually kind of look at the gun and make sure this is going to be a solid choice for them as far as gun choice is, as far as it's like not going to blow up in their face or something. Make sure that, help them, show them, make sure they can load the magazines correctly, and then, make sure they're going to be safe. Remind them of the safety rules. Keep it pointed at the berm, not above the berm, not at the ground, not at your feet, right at the berm at all things. We can't turn that gun to the left or to the right. It has to stay pointing downrange at the berm as the backstop. So it allows me to do that with each individual person rather than make one giant blanket statement, because no one listens to some people do, but some people don't, right? It kind of gets lost in translation. I don't know. It went well. It was a good night. Everyone kind of hung in there, but I promise if you're listening, it'll be even better it'll be even better next time. But we just got to get up and rolling, and that's what we're doing. And our weather seems like it's pretty nice, and then the nights that I have classes show up to shoot, it just turns to crap. We have it. Oh, it's crazy. It's just one of those things. What else do I got going on now? I've got a class on it. If you're on social media, if you're not on my social media pages, check out Patriot Defense. Check them out on Instagram. Check them out on Facebook. Just follow us on all the social medias that you're a part of, because we're on all of them. And also, really, the one that I guess you really need to focus on, the one I really focus on, is going to be Facebook. I know a lot of people don't like Facebook, but it's kind of I don't know, it's just an easy platform. So I posted up a video earlier this week talking about a class that we got coming up. Now, this is going to be the rifle pistol class. I did a rifle pistol class last year, and this is going to be a little different version of that. So last year, it was bring a handgun. You're going to run it from like a range holster or like an outside the waistband holster. That's what everyone did. And then, bring your rifle as well. We'll teach you how to run your rifle with a sling, and on the rifles people brought, they were all AR-15 style rifles. Okay, and so they brought those. They would learn the rifle one day, and then they'd come back another day, learn the pistol, and then we'd have a final, what we call combo class, where we teach them how to transition and run rifle and pistol and send them through some courses, right? And they were good days. It was a good class. And a lot of people showed up in what I call kit, right? They had their vest on, they had their whatever, and that's fine. But this next class, we are going to do kind of the same thing. If that's the way you want to carry, if that's the way you want to, is with the AR-15 and the kit, I guess that's fine. But what this class is really focusing on is the more practical use. Like you're at your house. It is the middle of the night, it is during the day, whenever it is, and you have to there is a threat, and you have to address the threat in the middle of the night. What are you going to grab when you jump out of bed, right? What are you going to grab? You grabbing a rifle? You grabbing a pistol? You grab them both? Maybe you're just out and about, and you have a larger property, and you're out and you're about, and you're carrying concealed, right? But you have a rifle with you because you're in your side by side. I don't know how you live your life, but we're going to lean more practical. So what we're going to do is we're going to require the pistol. In the class, we're going to require the pistol to be ran from a concealed carry holster. If you normally carry appendix carry, that's where you're going to carry your pistol, right? Now, as far as rifles are concerned, if you want to bring your AR-15 to the class, you definitely can do that, right? But not everyone. I'm going to throw this out there, and people are going to cringe. Not everyone has an AR-15. Not everyone really likes them. That they aren't their thing, right? Maybe it sounds funny, but maybe someone will grab it like a 10-22. Maybe they have a PCC set up in their house. Maybe they have some kind of lever action that they keep. They've always kept by their bed or in their closet for home defense. I mean, you just don't know what people are going to have nowadays. So we've opened it up to whatever rifle you have, man. We'll make it work. And if we can't make it work, we're going to do our best to make it work. But if you bring something ridiculous, that's fine. We welcome them all. Like, that would be interesting. If you want to show up with a Cricket single shot 22, you definitely can do that. But we're going to show you why that's probably not a good idea. So it's going to be your pistol ran from concealment and whatever rifle, AR-15. Lever action, PCC, little short-barreled rifle, little, I guess, Cricket, Ruger 1020, whatever. You want to run this sucker with an M1 Garand, that would be a pain, but that would be cool. Like, you bring it, man, and we'll go over. And what we're going to do that consists of 4 classes this year, not 3. We're going to have the rifle class, the pistol class, the combo class, where we teach you how to work them all together, transitions, all that stuff. And that'll be an interesting class, because if you bring an interesting rifle, then what? Then we have to think outside the box. So we'll do that. And then we'll bring you back for what we call a final, like a course challenge. So we're going to, all those skills that you learned in the previous 3 classes, this next class is going to be nothing but like courses, different courses, paper targets, steel targets, and you get to run both. And we'll tell you kind of lay out a criteria, what you need to do, what you need to use, and we're going to let you run through and get practice running through those different transitions from whatever odd rifle that you brought and your concealed carry pistol. Now, I know just from me doing this a little bit, because this, the rifle pistol thing isn't, I'm the pistol guy, right? And I do know that running let's say an appendix carry holster in the waistband, pistol, and then running your rifle can be a bit of a challenge, and you have to think differently. It's not as easy, and so that's going to be a challenge. It'll be interesting to see how people run through these courses. So it's kind of a run what you brung type of class. Now, I have required in there. There's a link up there, and I can throw it up again. I know I've had some questions. People are looking at this. There is. I want to let everyone run on the steel. On the steel targets, but if we're going to run an AR-15 or any of those big rifle rounds on my steel targets, we're going to have to use, what's the word? We're going to have to use special rounds. Why? Frangible round. I was thinking fragmentable rounds. No, it's frangible rounds. We have to use that so we don't damage my steel targets and make them just totally unusable and drive divots or holes through them, and to cut down on the ricochet aspect of it, right? So we're going to require that with the rifles. But this is going to be a fun class. I look forward to it. I know it's a big chunk of time. Now, when you look at the link, you can do what? You can pay a single price. I'd have to look. I think it's like $475 and get all the class. That's going to give you all those classes. Or if you don't want to take all the classes, maybe you just want to take one class at a time. I think it's about $150 a class, whatever it says in the link. And you can buy the separate classes. Now, to take the actual full-on end class, right, you need to have taken the other ones, right? But you can take the first, I think, 3 classes individually, and that is fine if that's what you want to do. So there you go. It's out there. It's going to be in June, and then we're going to finish up the last class in July. So it's out there if you're interested. Spread the word. I made a video about it that kind of explains it all. Now I've got another class coming up, and I've got a tentative date for it. I'm just doing some double checking. It's going to be on a Saturday as well. And it's going to be earlier. It's going to be I don't have it pulled up in front of me here, but I think it's my defensive pistol dynamics or something class. And what that does is that I did this class last year, and it was a lot of fun. And it is going to be a lot of from the draw. We're going to teach you how to draw. We're going to teach you how to engage. We're going to teach you how to control that recoil and get more accurate shots, quicker follow-up shots, and we're gonna rely really hard on drawing from a holster. And we're going to teach you how to draw from that holster, master the draw. You're going to draw that thing and draw that gun and fire it probably 300-400 times throughout the class. And engage, different size targets, all those things. You are going to get to do that. And that is going to help you really perfect that draw, help you perfect how to get those sights from draw, get on targets, and take that initial successful and accurate shot. So I've got that coming up as well. And then I got a few more. I haven't quite announced that one yet. It should be announced today or tomorrow. I'll put it on social media and whatnot. And then I have a few more classes in the works. I'm not ready to actually talk about them yet. I'm just kind of like putting them together. And I would imagine at some point this year, I'll probably do another defensive shotgun class. That seemed to pique a lot of people's interest. So I'll get that out there. So look for that as well as what I'm saying. So, okay. What else do we got going on in Todd's world over here? I really want to know why every gun I want to buy. This is something I've been thinking about for a couple of weeks. Why is every gun I want to buy right now so hard to freaking find? It's probably because they're the new ones, right? I struggle finding these stupid guns that I want. But I do have an update. The Marlin Dark Series, lever action and 357. I've been watching it for a few months now. I know I've been talking about it, right? This tactical carbine, like I've been talking about it a bunch. I go to the Marlin website, and it had it on the list, but it always said coming spring 2025. Coming spring. I check it every few days. Coming spring 2025. In fact, I went to one of my local gun stores, and I had them look it up. Say, can you earmark one of these for me? Because it's limited quantities available of this thing. It's not a full-on run, something they're going to make a whole bunch of. So I want to get my hands on this because the larger rifle, not the 357 one, but the 4570 version, when it came out and it sold out, and now the secondary markets are twice what the actual original price was, and so I don't want to experience that because I will not buy the gun. If I have to go to the secondary market, I'm not going to pay that much. But I went to my local gun stores a while back, and I said, hey, look this up. Can you earmark one, put it on a wish list, something? How do you get one of these into your store for me? Because as soon as it comes in, I'll walk in and purchase it. Zero problems. I'll purchase it right away. And they looked and goes, man, we can't even find a SKU for it, which means, yeah, they say they're going to make it. we're finding the gun, but we're not finding a SKU. So we can't even send to our buyer, hey, we want this SKU. If you see one, grab it or find us one, right? So I don't know, about a month has gone by since I did that. I was poking around online a couple days ago, and they've updated the status on the Marlin website. Instead of saying coming spring of 2025, it now says limited quantities. I'm like, okay, what does that mean? What does that mean? So I did a bunch of Google foo, got on my little smart box here, and I still can't find any available to purchase online. I went back to my local gun store. I said, okay, this is what it says. Look up. What can you find? And they started looking at all their suppliers, and they actually found that it is up. It is pulled up now on their suppliers page and actually has a SKU, but it says not currently available yet or whatever. So it has been updated. It has a SKU number. So they were able to go in and add to all their wish lists and whatever. The SKU number they wanted one. So we'll see, man. I'm trying so hard to get my hands on one of these. I will not buy it on the secondary market. I want to get it quickly because it's a pretty decent price right now when it first comes out. But if it hits that secondary market, forget it. Anything that says limited by it, forget it. It's going to essentially double in price. People are going to buy them, and they're going to sit on them, and they're going to wait. And they're going to wait till the only run of those guns that are doing is and I don't know how many they're making, but they're going to wait till that's dried up and gone, and then they're going to start selling them on the secondary market. So I want this gun so bad. So every day I'm looking. I essentially told all the gun stores, hey, I appreciate the extra work you're doing for me here, the extra effort that you're putting in to try and find me one of these. And I'm just letting everyone know that I will be purchasing it from the first person or the first place I can find it at. So I'm kind of taking these gun stores and I'm putting them all all together. They're competing against each other now. I will buy the gun, but it is going to be from whoever can find it first. And if I find it online first, it is what it is. Now, I'm talking right here, and I'm kind of looking at my this is Rabbit Trail. I'm watching my Roadcaster board here, and the screen is glitching every now and then. So this may cut off. I am not sure, but my screen is glitching. I don't know what is wrong with this thing. It's probably time to upgrade. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, so I will be getting one of those. And I have bit the bullet, and I have looked, and I have been talking to my buddy Magnum, the podcast favorite. I think I'm going to bite the bullet, and I think I want to buy a suppressor this year. I really do. And so he's been helping me research one, and I found one that I want. And now here is the question. I think I know the answer. I think I've figured out the answer, but here is the question. There's two rifles that I want that I would love to use a suppressor on. There is the tactical lever action, okay? And then I love my Springfield Armory, it's nothing, super, super expensive, fancy, but I like it. I think it's a good rifle. I love my Springfield Armory St. Victor. In fact, I love them so much. I've got the AR, the 5.56 version, and then I have the 9mm PCC version. And now this year they're coming out with, in fact, it's already available. They have the 9mm PCC, but it's pretty much an AR pistol version. I believe it has like a 5-inch barrel on it or something. And I wanted to get that, and I wanted to put a suppressor on it because I think that would be a kick-ass little home defense weapon. And I just think it would be super fun. I wish they'd do something with the magazines. I'm not a big fan of the magazine that they use, but other than that, it would be a fun little gun. And so here's the question: do I buy the suppressor and then buy the guns that I can attach the suppressor to, or do I purchase the guns and then purchase the suppressor? I figure I'm into the suppressor, like $700-ish out the door. That's what Magnum was telling me. And the two rifles I want to buy that would take the suppressor, they're both about $1,100 each. So do I buy the rifles and then buy the suppressor, or buy the suppressor and then buy the rifles? That, my friend, is the question. I think I know me, and I think I'd end up buying a rifle, and then I couldn't wait very long, and I'd just hurry up and buy this stupid suppressor. But I don't know. I'm torn right now. Actually, the reason why I really put the kibosh on this is because Todd did his taxes. Patriot Defense did his taxes, and holy crap. I swear, this is my tax rant. The system is not set up for you to win. We all know that. I shouldn't have to point that out. It is not set up for you to win. Write-offs. I can have all the freaking write-offs in the world, and they're still going to nail you for taxes. They legit took half of my Patriot Defense operating fund, which was a big operating fund, because I had a decent year last year, and just took it all. They took over half of it. Like, it's absolutely insane. And I thought I had enough write-offs. And where do you draw the line? You make too much, you're punished. Then it looks like you don't make very much because maybe I don't claim half of my stuff, and then they come and they audit me. Like, I don't freaking know. I don't know. I'm bad at this part, but that's why I haven't bought all these guns that I want to buy. Is because the freaking federal government took half my freaking money. So now I'm just kind of waiting to do. I can't do it all at once now. I gotta do it as we go, and it's pissing me off. So answer that question for me though: guns or suppressor or guns? Somebody help me here. I'm looking at the clock here, and we've been going there about 26, 27-ish minutes. Now, I've got something else that I wanted to kind of just talk about, and I've mentioned it before. So I don't get out a whole lot and travel, but I do get out and travel around and do some different things. And I wanted to just throw this out there as a reminder, because there's been a few times I've carried in through Utah, and I've carried in through Arizona, when we travel, right? Because an Idaho enhanced concealed carry permit is reciprocal in a ton of other states. You need to understand, though, that just because you have that permit and you're able to drive to Utah, you're able to drive to Arizona, New Mexico, right? You're able to drive through these areas. You have to understand, though, that, you're legal in that state, but you have to work with the laws in those states. So the laws in, let's say, Utah aren't the same as the laws in Idaho. So you're still, even though you're allowed in that state, you have to follow the laws in that state. Now, I also want to point out there's another little thing that you have to be concerned with, and those are Indian reservations. Those are... It's like they're their own little world, and they make up their own laws according to what they want. It doesn't matter. They have the jurisdiction when you're on the Indian, even if you're just passing through. They have the jurisdiction on that, and they can take your guns from you if you're doing it incorrectly. Now, it's different because it's hard to find sometimes the way they want you to carry those. Now, I was reading some articles, and they were saying the best thing is this: if you're passing through one, take your gun, unload it, and put it in the trunk, separate the ammo and the gun, and you're probably going to be okay. But you have to understand that just because you're passing through those areas doesn't mean that you are safe and you are good to go as far as covered by your permit, because they are their own little worlds, and they can do whatever they want. They can imprison you, they can fine you, they can take your weapon, all this stuff. So we just have to be very aware of that. I know you're zipping through a state that you're legal in, right? And you're just zipping along, and all of a sudden you pass a little tiny sign that says "Now entering Hopi Indian Reservation," and you're like, "Oh, okay, well that's cool." Zipping along, well, all of a sudden you've crossed that line, and you are illegal at that point. Whether that bothers you or not, it doesn't matter, because some people are like, "I don't really care." And that's fine, but it's my job just to kind of point that out to you. You have to understand that now you're in a different jurisdiction, and different laws apply to you. And if you get pulled over and something happens and that is on your waist, man, I don't know what to tell you at that point. You need to understand how you need to transport. Now, you could call down there. You could check. You could probably go online and find some places. I know the article I was reading talks about a few of them. For example, I'm not going to remember all these. So I had to pull these up here. Let's see. It says, for example, we got the Navajo Nation. It's in Arizona, New Mexico, and Utah. That's the reservation. It spans more than 17.5 million acres. It spans 3 different states. A person who commits an unlawful carrying of a deadly weapon, if he or she carries a loaded firearm or any other type of deadly weapon anywhere on Navajo lands. However, an exception is made to a person in a private motor vehicle. So there, you can carry it in your private motor vehicle, just don't get out with it, right? The Hopi Reservation, located within Arizona. The Hopi Indian, and this is actually located within the Navajo Nation. The Navajo Reservation inside of it is the Hopi. The Hopi Indian tribes require that you obtain a permit signed by the judge of the Hopi trial court and countersigned by the superintendent of the reservation in order to carry a concealed handgun. So it all gets a bit confusing, and I was going to go and read all these ones that I could find, but it's just too much. It's just so much. And they're all just different. They are not the same. So just be aware. It's like carry at your own risk. Do what you want to do. I really don't care. I just wanted to point it out. You have to understand you're not covered in those reservations. They can do what they want. They're like their own little countries. So you just have to understand that. Now, I want to talk about something that came up locally where I live here in southern Idaho. There was about 2 years ago, unfortunately, I've kind of been waiting for something to happen. About 2 years ago, it was announced that the local Twin Falls school district, which covers quite a few schools, the ones that can't afford an RSO, that is a resource officer by the sheriff's department, they were putting into place, for those without an RSO, they were contracting out to this private security company. And this private security company is owned and ran by a guy that used to be local Twin Falls City Police. He's a retired police officer. Well, the name of this business is Eagle Eye Security, and he got the massive contract, right, to put security officers in these schools. Now, we saw this coming from a couple of years ago. Like, we saw this coming. The people that he was hiring he wasn't training them. Like, he's putting them in schools. He's mildly suggesting that they go and they get their enhanced concealed carry permits. And so I had a few of those people show up to my class, right? So I've seen them, and anyhow, they need more training. They obviously need more training. You're going to carry in a school like that, like, you need more training. And we've been waiting. Like I said, we've kind of just been, something's going to happen. I've heard stories. I've heard my buddy going to his kids to school and seeing the security officer and the way he's carrying and what he's carrying, and he looks like a mall ninja, and heard stories of people I know that own gun stores and saying that these people have showed up and they said, yeah, I work for Eagle Eye Security. I'm going to be in the schools. We have to come get our own guns, and them buying little tiny guns, little Hellcats, not the full size. This is before the full size, or like little Springfield XDSs when they still made those. And I'm not picking on anyone, but one of them was like an older lady. She was probably in her 70s or close to, and she couldn't rack the slide on it. She didn't understand gun safety. They pretty much had to tell her how the gun worked, like at the counter, and she still couldn't rack the slide. Anyhow, she bought it to use for her new security job in the schools. Scary, huh? An article came out that there was a firearm left in a school bathroom. A security officer left the firearm in the school bathroom, and a student found it. A student found that gun. Didn't touch it, went and reported it right away to a teacher. Good on that student. It could have ended up so much worse. Now, the story also said that this is what they said. Now, I view it as the dude, the security officer, whoever it was, he, she, I'm not sure, had to use the bathroom and took their gun off to use the bathroom. First of all, if you're carrying in a proper holster in a proper manner, like you should never have to remove your gun from your belt to use the freaking bathroom. I don't care who you are or where you carry. There are ways to get around that, okay? There are safer ways to do it than removing your freaking gun. That is just asinine horse shit. You do not have to remove your gun to use the bathroom. You just don't. Okay. That's me. Now, here's what the article said. The article said that the security officer said that they went in and they had to adjust their gear. And they heard some noise in the hallway and then went running out of the bathroom into the hallway. I'm like, that's a story and a half. That is a story and a half. Just say you went in there to go to the bathroom. I about got a little crude there. You went in there to go to the bathroom and you left your gun behind because you're an irresponsible kook. Like, that is the story right there. Now, this security guard was fired. This security guard was fired. Let me pull this up here. I got some quotes here. I just got to find out. I actually honestly wasn't even thinking I was going to talk about this today. It didn't even come up on my radar as wanting to talk about it today. Where is that article? But you know what? I'm just kind of amped up by it because everyone says what? Everyone says we're not average citizens aren't good enough to carry. Let me see. Eagle Eye Security has worked with the school district for the past 3 school years, providing security at all 9 elementary schools and Bridge Academy Middle School. That's why this is such a tough situation to deal with, Hanchy said. It's exactly what we're there to prevent. The security firm will now regroup and add more training on firearm awareness, he said. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? They will now that there was an incident, they're going to regroup and add more training on firearm awareness. What did you do with all that money? That big, massive contract that you got? What did you do with that? You buy yourself a fancy truck? I don't know. Did you buy yourself a bigger house? Because you definitely didn't spend it on quality, trained, give them training, security officers. I've seen them. I had one guy in here. I'm getting a little fired up because it pisses me off. I've seen them in my class, right? I've seen him shoot. I'm not going to comment on their shooting. We could all use more training. We'll just give it that. I could see him, this guy, he was here and he was like, he was telling stories. He was kind of like bragging and boasting. He's like, oh yeah, kids these days, I'll tell you what, I'm in that school and, these kids are doing this and that. And I keep having to tell myself, you can't put your hands on the kids. You can't put your hands on the kids. I'm like, really? Like, really? Like, you're there for one job. I don't think they have you there to be teaching these kids or trying to keep these kids on the straight and narrow. You're there to provide security in case someone wants to shoot the freaking school up. And I'm not confident you can do that. But now you're telling me that kids irritate you and you have to keep telling yourself, I can't put my hands on the kids. I can't put my hands on is that the guy you want carrying a gun in school? Is that the guy you want in school, period? Being around kids? I don't think so. I don't think so. And I'm going to bring this back around because there's a plenty of other people out there that could do a much better job than these security officers. But the fact that your tax dollars locally here went to this stupid bunghole, ex-police officer that should know the value of training, that should know better, and the fact that our tax dollars went to pay his massive contract and he's not providing, like, this is a simple, I left my gun in the bathroom. Like, this should be covered on freaking day 1 training if you offered any at all. I mean, come on. Really? I want to know if there is these Looney Tunes don't even have to qualify. It's absolutely ridiculous, right? And we look at the fact that Idaho last year wanted to enact a bill. They tried to get a law passed that anyone that worked for the school, anyone that was subcontracting to the school, if they showed up to work on an air conditioning unit and they didn't even work for the school, but they were a subcontractor coming in to work on a problem, that if you had your enhanced permit, you could carry a firearm in that school. As much as we need to be able to carry without training. I totally get that. I totally understand that. But man, I see people in classes all the time that are absolute doorknobs. I mean, they are. Not all of them, but there are some that are doorknobs. They need more training. They think that they are they leave here with this permit and they think that they are a superhero. They think that they are a superhero. And I should retract that, but I'm not going to. My editing game is weak. Just because you have your permit doesn't mean you're ready to carry a gun at all, let alone in a school. Like, you need to work on things, how to draw the gun, how to engage, how to do this, how to do that. And I guarantee you these security officers that you have paid the tax dollars to this security firm so much money to put his security offer, and he's offering no training. Like, no training. He suggests they get their permit, but it's not required. He suggests it. Absolutely ridiculous. So glad something so bad could have happened with that. Something so bad could have happened. It'll be interesting to see the fall. Now, this took place. This article came out on Friday, I believe. Friday after my radio show. So I'm gonna do a little research. I'm gonna try and blow this thing up. Like, we're gonna talk about this. This is gonna be a topic for the radio show next week that I do, and maybe another podcast. Maybe I'll get fired up enough that I'll do another podcast. So I'm gonna do some digging. I'm gonna get some information, because this is absolutely uncalled for. Like, this is absolutely ridiculous, right? I don't know. Anyhow, I'm going to step down because I'm awake now, folks. I started off not awake. I'm awake now. But I got to go. I got to get some stuff done. I got to wake up my kid and say, hey, you slept in, got enough beauty sleep. It's time to go run. So I'm going to go do that, work out some of my angst here. I will talk to you guys later. If you like the podcast, share it with your family, share it with your friends, share it on social media. I don't care what you do. Just share it. It helps it grow. That's what I need. If you got any questions or comments, you can call me. You can text me, area code 620-794-6223. It's area code 620-794-6223. I will see you guys in a week. Bye.